Welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is Cooking Up Sales with Cast Iron. I am Sid Mitchell. I am the CEO and owner of the Sugar Queen Academy, which is a business academy that focuses on providing business content to those of you in the baking and sweets and foodie industry to help you with understanding how to start and grow profitable businesses. All right. So that's exactly what I do in a nutshell. And I am partnered with Cast Iron to make sure you guys have the tools and education that you need to be successful when you launch your store on Cast Iron so that you can continue to make some more money and grow your business and thrive and all that great stuff. All right. So today's topic is about packaging. And I'm going to give some inspirational tips around packaging, as well as ways that you can use your packaging to enhance the customer experience. All right. So this is our agenda. We're going to go through an introduction of who I am, and also as well as who Emily is, because she's in the background. And then we're going to do an overview of the topic. Then we're going to talk about packaging options, of which I categorize this too. And then we're going to talk about customer service, customer experience enhancements. And I've got 3 of those that we're going to talk about. And then we'll have an opportunity for a question and answer. All right. So I'm Sid, that's me, but just with straight hair. And I am an accountant by trade, right? So my background is in finance and accounting, and I found my way into this industry in 2014 when a couple of my baker friends were asking me business questions around how to start their business, how to grow their business, how to get their finances in order. And so from there, it just kind of was a perfect collaboration of me loving the food industry as well as being in the business world and finance and accounting. And so I married those 2 together and started Sweet Fest as an Instagram page. Long story short, there's been different brands that I've continued to collaborate with over time. I started the Ultimate Sugar Show and also, helped found the Sugar Queen Academy and continued on in being a business blogger for Retail Bakers of America. I have a column in American Cake Decorating Magazine, which is all about business. Everything I do is about business. And now I'm working with Cast Iron to help give you guys the business tools you need to thrive and survive over on the internet. All right, so that's me in a nutshell. These are the brands that I've worked with or worked for at some point in my life. All right, so enough about that. I'm also going to introduce you guys to Emily. She is our representative. She is the counterpart, the helpful hand for us over at Cast Iron. She will specifically be available to you guys if you have questions around the nuts and bolts of, launching your store on Cast Iron. So definitely jot down this email if you need specific help with your Cast Iron store. She is going to be the best resource for you guys. And it's help plus cooking up sales at castiron.me, and she'll be available there. Emily is in the background. You guys can't see her, but she is there and she'll be chiming in the chat. Also, if you're following on YouTube, definitely make sure to subscribe to Cast Iron's YouTube channel as well as the Sugar Queen Academy. Maybe put in Cast Iron HQ as well as business or online, online website, all that good stuff. Make sure you connect, subscribe, like this video, give it a thumbs up, all that YouTube-y stuff. All right, here we go. Finally, to the meat potatoes. We're going to do an overview. And here it is. Today's session actually was partially inspired by my own experience as a customer over the years. Obviously, I don't just work with foodies. I love food. I do order food a lot through ordering apps, or I'll order takeout and go pick it up and bring it home. Or I'll be out and about when I'm visiting another city. And, I've, had to have takeout or delivery service, all that kind of fun stuff. So a lot of what I'm talking about today is based off of some pet peeves. And then others is just, information that we've gathered over time as I've consulted with other folks in the industry. And so I just want to make sure that you guys have a really solid footing when it comes to packaging and the customer experience. Also, my background is in customer service. Outside of being an accountant, I worked in retail before and had to deal with customer service issues. So all of this kind of just all goes together. Okay, so as a customer, there's nothing worse than purchasing an item that looks so promising but ends up being disappointing. In this session, we will discuss cost-effective and brand-focused options for packaging, as well as ways to enhance the post-purchase customer experience. Okay, so think about it. We're going to be talking about the brand packaging, how you can match that up with your, how we can match up the packaging with your brand in a cost-effective way, and then sometimes in an expensive way, but depends on what your budget is, as well as what happens when the customer gets home or the package is delivered or whatever, how you can enhance that experience to your benefit and to the customer's benefit. That's what today is about. In this session, I will also discuss a list of vendor resources for packaging, but these are not an endorsement of any product or brand other than cast iron. Suggestions will be provided only for inspiration, okay? Because I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. All right, packaging options. All right, so general packaging items, things that you want to make sure that you have when it comes to your packaging. You want to make sure that it matches your brand, number one. You want to make sure that the labels are accurate. All right, so sometimes, if let's say if you have a home-based business, you may be required to have certain type of labels that talk about how your items have been manufactured, or if there's any allergen information that's related to it. You guys know specifically what is required for the labels. And so make sure that you have the correct information on your labels, as well as your contact information and so forth. All right, another good nice to have for your general packaging items is multi-purpose. All right, you want to be able to use them in multiple ways. Now, yes, there may be something that you find really cute for Valentine's Day or for Christmas or whatever, but if you really want to stretch your money, stretch your budget, then you want to make sure that you can use this packaging in multiple different ways. So whether that is you have cake boxes that you can put in inserts sometimes to make them into cupcake boxes, that's going to help you a lot better than just having a specific container for cupcakes and a specific container for cakes and a specific container for round cakes or whatever, right? You want to be able to use them in multiple different ways. Okay, so these are just things that are like general nice to haves, general things to keep in mind, because we're going to talk about some more specific things in just a little bit. Another thing too is you want to make sure that your packaging includes information and is very informative. All right, we'll talk way more detail in like another 20 minutes about what that looks like, but specifically we're going to talk about pro tips and feedback. Okay. All right. So when it comes to your packaging options, I categorize them in two ways. All right, two ways. We're going to have semi-custom and then we're going to have fully custom. And I'm going to explain each of those. All right. Semi-custom. Semi-custom packaging is when you put a personal spin on plain or generic packaging. That's why it's called semi-custom, all right? Because you have the opportunity to tweak it and make it your own. All right. You can add a personal touch to generic packaging by adding generic or custom stickers. All right, so this is a picture of just some generic thank you for supporting our small business stickers, but that's still something that gives a nice little cute touch to a more generic package, okay? Or you can use custom rubber stamps or custom printed ribbons or custom printed labels as well to kind of elevate a generic package. And so when I talk about that, I'm saying specifically like, let's say you go to one vendor and they have craft colored boxes or white colored boxes or pink or teal or whatever it is that matches with your brand. You can purchase those, but then you can tweak them to make them your own by adding a custom stamp or a custom printed ribbon or specific color ribbon or specific sticker to go along with it. Okay. All right. Semi-custom packaging can be more cost-effective than custom packaging, fully custom packaging, especially if your business doesn't have the volume yet. And this will make sense in just a little bit when we start talking about fully custom. All right, generic resources for where you can get generic plain Jane packaging. All right. Amazon, yes, Amazon sells everything. All right. Amazon, BRP boxes, clear bags, Etsy, because there's places that you can get stuff on Etsy, NJ, Nashville Wraps, Webstaurant, Zazzle, and I'm sure there's tons of other places where you can get generic cake boxes or cupcake boxes or pizza boxes or donut boxes or whatever it is that you sell. There are plenty of places where you can get that generic like packaging, and then you can elevate it by adding your own stickers or stamps or what have you. All right, and that's going to be your semi-custom. That's going to be the most cost-effective way to add the branding without spending a ton of money. Okay. All right. Then there's fully custom. Fully custom packaging is packaging designed and manufactured with your brand and your specific purpose in mind. All right. And I said this way because it's not just about, does it look pretty and does it have my brand on it? You may have something specific that you sell that needs a type of box that maybe you can't get from Amazon. Maybe you have a certain type, maybe you sell cake jars, right? Just like these, maybe these are mixed nuts. So let's just say you sell mixed nuts, right? You don't want to ship your mixed nuts to across state lines and then the jar shatters or it comes to the customer bent up. You may need some type of specially insulated packaging to make sure that it gets to where it's supposed to go and still looks beautiful. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you can go about it. There's, you know, packaging that has your specific look, but then also maybe packaging that fits a specific need that you have in your business. Here we go. Things to consider when you are trying to go fully customized, okay? Cost per unit, all right? So it may be more cost effective if you are able to purchase fully customized items if you can buy in really large quantities. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So like, for instance, maybe you go to xyzboxes.com and they sell cake boxes for 50 cents a box, right? But what if you could get your print on it and you could get, you know, 3,000 or 30,000 boxes and that suits your business and you have it within the budget and they can knock that down to 45 cents per box. That's going to be a great deal for you, but it may not make sense if that's not the type of volume that you do. So you want to make sure that it makes sense on the cost per unit, or either you upcharge and include that into the price of your item if it's a little bit more expensive than your semi-customized box. Okay. Also, we're going to talk about pricing next month, actually. So we'll keep that in mind. Okay, so another thing to consider is minimum quantities, because some of the vendors that provide maybe custom print or a custom build out of your box or package, they require a minimum quantity. It could be 500, could be 10,000, could be 20,000. So you want to keep that in mind as you are starting to do the research on your packaging, okay? Another thing to consider is the impact on the customer experience, okay? So will there be, like, for instance, if I'm shipping cookies, right, or shipping macarons or something like that, or I'm providing macarons to my customers if they come to my store, or they order online or whatever, then I may need dividers, right? So what is the customer experience going to be if I just give them a tube of cookies as opposed to cookies that had individual segments in it, right? So what's the customer experience going to be like with this packaging? I want to consider that as I'm looking through to get my own, you know, custom packaging. Another thing too is, what's the difference between your current volume versus your existing volume, all right? So maybe, you know, the way that your business is going right now, it may not make sense to get 30,000 boxes pre-ordered with fully printed on them. But let's say you have just gotten a deal with putting in a local grocer, or, you know, you just got a deal with putting it into a Target or wherever, I don't know, you know, you're branching out a little bit more. So your volume may be a little bit bigger. So it may make more sense to get fully customized items, because you can afford and you should be able to put in the budget for those more, you know, that increase in customers that you're going to get. Okay. Another thing too is consider the versatility. So a couple slides ago, we talked about, being able to use one box for cupcakes versus that same box for cakes versus that same box for treats or whatever. So you want to also keep in mind, if I'm going to invest a whole bunch of money into this customized box, will I be able to use it for multiple different products, or is this just specifically going to be for one product? So you want to keep that in mind. Also consider the turnaround time. If you're doing some type of product launch, or if this is something you need really quickly because this new local grocery store wants to put you on their shelves, and they need it by 3 weeks from now, do you really have time to wait for production for them to create your box and send it off to you, and you also package all of your goods, right? So these are the things to keep in mind. All right, I'm gonna pause for a second, make sure I'm not missing chat. Okay, good, 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 good. Okay, cool. All right, so here's an example, and this is from the BRP Box Shop, like Q&A, FAQ area. All right, so can you make custom boxes? Will you do custom printing? And this is again from BRP Box Shop. Yes, we can make custom boxes. We can do custom printing. Most orders are at least 10,000 pieces. So this is why I say to consider if there is a minimum quantity. All right, we can do smaller orders, but the 10,000 unit mark is where the price per piece becomes attractive to the majority of customers. So in other words, you can order less than 10,000 pieces, but at the same time, it may increase the price per unit as opposed to going down, right? So that's the beauty part of being able to order in volume, is that you can decrease the price when stuff is mass manufactured like this, okay? Custom boxes that are different from existing boxes on our site require a cutting die. If the custom box has a base and lid, the job usually requires 2 dies. Die cost varies according to the size and style of the finished box, but they range from $1,400 to $2,000 per die. So for instance, if you are considering getting custom packaging and it goes beyond just the print, and you need it to be cut to where there's a section for cookies and then there's like 4 little cavities for cupcakes at the same time, or strawberries, then that's going to require a little bit more extra work, because they're going to have to create a specific die to cut your boxes for you. Okay, so that's again something to consider. All right, our in-house printing press requires printing plates for custom print jobs. The press uses 1 plate per color per box. So again, that's something I didn't even think about, but how many different colors would you like to have on your packaging? Now with this particular example, it sounds like they're doing screen printing, so there's a different like screen or plate per color, but then there's some other places, some other vendors, like maybe a U-Print, where they do just a complete print on it. It's not like individual plates kind of dyeing it. Okay, so really, again, if you're going to get into this fully customized area, you have to do your research. Otherwise, you'll end up spending a whole bunch more money than what you anticipated spending. Okay, so our in-house printing press requires printing plates for custom print jobs. The press uses 1 plate per color per box. If your custom design has 3 colors, it requires 3 separate plates. The cost for plates varies by size and design, but an estimate is $400 to $800 per plate. Plate ready art files are required for custom printing, so on and so forth. And then it goes on to say that there's a 6 to 10 weeks turnaround time, depending upon the availability and all that good stuff. So this is an example of what it takes to purchase custom packaging. Now there are other vendors that provide prints and custom packaging and whatnot, so definitely do your research, but I just want to give you guys a really good example of what I was talking about. Okay, so resources for custom printed packaging. There's BRP Box Shop, Etsy, again, because there are other vendors that are on Etsy that make it available as well. Ribbon Print Company, and that's actually a company that you can purchase your own printer to make your own ribbons. And so first of all, I love the idea of having a ribbon printer. If you can invest in something like that, but like in addition to you having your stickers or whatever, you can actually make money off of selling your ribbons as well. So for instance, if you have customers who come in and they want a custom ribbon for the birthday person, you can do that, or anniversary ribbons or whatever. So then it's not just ribbons that you print for your own packaging, but then you can also make additional revenue off of printing ribbons for other people's types of celebrations and custom celebrations as well, custom ribbons for their celebrations. Okay. Simply Stamps, I personally have used Simply Stamps before, and they had a nice turnaround time. And, as long as you have ink available and you take very good care of your stamp, you can use that forever and ever. Well, for a long time, I'll say. Uprinting, I've used them as well in the past. And also, should I say, Ribbon Print Company. I also know the owner as well, and she's awesome, and they have great customer service when it comes to their ribbon printers. Okay, and then Uprinting, like I said, they print custom boxes. I should have had my box here sitting and ready to show you guys, but I completely forgot about it. Maybe I can show you guys at the very end. And then, of course, we all know about Vistaprint, but you probably know about Vistaprint from printing your business cards, but they also have where you can print your, packaging, bags, boxes, that type of stuff as well. And then there's Wayland Packaging. They've also been a sponsor before, and then Zazzle. Okay, so there's all kinds of, resources out there. And then obviously this is not the only resources that exist out there. I'm sure you can find more information on the internet too. All right, Lisa says she currently looking at Box Genie. I've never heard of Box Genie, but that's one to add to the list. I love that. Emily says, when I see you all starting to sell custom ribbon on cast iron, I'll know you watch this. Exactly. And I'm telling you guys, this is a perfect upsell for people's celebrations, birthday parties, anniversaries, that kind of stuff, is to be able to say it's not just a ribbon around the cake board that says happy birthday, but it says like happy birthday Emily right around the board, because you've got this printed label. Or you can even make like sashes, like think about bachelorette parties and all that kind of stuff. You can even do those on the ribbon printer as well. All right, so enhancements. This is my favorite part. All right, in the remainder of the training, we will discuss 3 categories that can enhance the customer experience through your packaging. Testing. I cannot stress this one enough. Testing, okay? So don't let the cute look fool you. Don't let the I'm gonna say it right. Don't let the cute look fool you, okay? Some of the cutest packaging can be bad news, all right? No bueno. It looks cute, but it's not gonna work. But you would never know if you didn't test it, okay? The product may be pretty when it leaves your hands, but don't forget to consider what the customer will see, taste, feel, or smell when they are ready to enjoy your products. All right. And so I know I'm talking to all kinds of different business owners, right? So there may be those of you who sell locally, maybe with, local pickup. There may be some of you who ship across your own state or across state lines. So I know that we're talking about different types of packaging at this point, but still there is going to be an end user for this product, and you need to consider what they're going to go through when they open the packaging. Okay. All right. Make sure that you test your packaging to walk through the customer experience. Like I said, this session has been based on kind of like issues that I've had. It's kind of like sparked me wanting to talk about it. And I have definitely been in situations where I have ordered something. Maybe I walked up to a storefront, I ordered it, they packaged it in a way, and I was like, I know that they did not test how this was going to travel as I'm walking around the city, or as I'm going from their place to my home across town 45 minutes, right? So make sure that you test so that you know what the customer experience is going to look like, because even though it's cute and pretty, that little parchment sheet that you put that cupcake on in this big box is not going to stay there when I travel 45 minutes back to my home. Okay. All right. Testing considerations. Think about the freshness. How long is it going to stay fresh? What is the shelf stableness? All right. Think about its ability to travel. When you have this cupcake in this container or these cookies in this, bag or whatever, is this going to travel well? All right. And we're going to talk about solutions in a minute, but these are the things you want to take note of. All right. How long is it going to stay fresh in this container? Is it temperature controlled, or should you tell the person that they need to crank up their AC if they are carrying this, whole cake home, or they're taking this whole cake to the party or whatever, right? Also, what is it going to look like once it gets to the place, right? So once they open the container or once they open the box, is it still going to look good? Is it still going to smell delicious? Is it going to need to be reheated? Like, think about those things as well. All right. And then also, are there clear instructions for people outside of, if you have a cupcake in like one cupcake container, obviously they're just going to flip the box open and they're going to eat the cupcake. But then if you're selling something like donuts, if you're selling brownies or something like that that needs to be warmed up in order to be better enjoyed, then are there clear instructions that explain to people exactly what they should do once they get to the place where they're going to enjoy that thing? Okay. Or like if you're using a delivery service, once it gets to the customer, what do they need to do once they get it? All right. To be able to fully enjoy what you've made. All right. Also, run through the scenarios. All right. So as you're thinking through this testing phase, what does the drive home look like? So we've all been in this place where, we've had customers come and pick up food or pick up a cake or cookies or whatever. And we told them clearly, like, put it on the floorboard, or, don't put it in your lap or go straight home. But just think through what exactly would happen if they didn't go straight home within the hour, right? Just think through these things and make notes, right? Run through the scenario of if you are shipping. So if you're somebody who ships across town or to another state or whatever, what do you think is going to happen to this box if this, the carrier doesn't take care to do, they kick the box basically, because we've all been there too, where we thought we had tested it, but they literally like juggled it upside down, even though we put all the signs on it. Okay. Another scenario is if it's just sitting on the counter, or if it's sitting on the presentation table, the display table, once it gets to an event. Like, what are some things you need to inform your customer of so that they can know how to take care of the product? Okay. When you are testing your packaging, all right, make sure to take notes and make adjustments to the packaging as needed. All right, this is all going to make sense in just a little bit. Okay, so as you're going through the test, make sure you think through the scenarios and write yourself some notes. Okay, your notes will help you with enhancement category number 2, which we're about to talk about. Okay, pro tips. All right, pro tips is the other way that you're going to enhance the customer experience. Okay, I want you to share tips with your customer that they may not consider when interacting with your product, and that will improve their overall experience. Okay, so these are pro tips that you're going to share with your customer, because now you've gone through the customer experience, right? You walked through, you actually, you ordered your own cookies, or you ordered your own cupcakes. You drove around town for half the day doing errands, and then you came back to your home, and then you realized this is exactly what my customer is going to do, and what should I tell them to do in order to make sure that they don't have an epic fail once they get home, okay, or a big box of mess. Okay, so pro tip examples are reheating instructions. If you have, cookies, should they be better? Should they be served warm? Should they be put in the microwave for 8 seconds? If you have donuts, should they be put in the microwave for 8 seconds? If you have, cake or cupcakes, should they be put in the refrigerator immediately? What are some things that they need to know in order to keep the product fresh, and also to keep them in the best condition until they are ready to consume and enjoy your products? Okay, so reheating instructions, thawing directions. So let's say they picked up your cake, or you delivered their cake and it was frozen, or cookies, or whatever it is that you serve, and it was frozen. Is there a way for them to unthaw the product so that it doesn't become a melty mess, right? Other things too, if there's less leftovers, how should they store it? Should they just put it in a plastic container? Is the box that you gave them good for storage, or is it something that they need to remove from that box and put into a Tupperware container or something with a plastic lid, or put plastic wrap over it? Let them know what is the best way to store their leftovers so that they can continue to enjoy it for a particular amount of time. And then also explain to them what that particular amount of time is. Like if you, again, we're testing our freshness as well. We're testing the shelf stableness. So we should be able to say, okay, well, you can put this in a Tupperware container and you can put it in the refrigerator, but you need to eat it within the next 3 days. You need to be specific and clear with people so that they know that they can't just keep the cake in the refrigerator for 3 weeks and it still be good and fresh, right? You can also tell them if they want to keep it for months, then they need to wrap it a specific way and they need to freeze it, i.e. the top layer of a wedding cake, right? Okay, so storage tips as well as packaging uses and purposes. So for instance, if in your brand story, it is about, making sure that you use sustainable materials, or, you want to reduce your carbon footprint or whatever, and you have maybe a bag that you give to them or a box, maybe you explain to them how they can recycle this or they can reuse it for another purpose. Whatever that is, go ahead and explain that as well, because it's a pro tip. And then finally, when it comes to transportation, and if they are, let's say they came to your place to pick it up, or you dropped it off somewhere and they need to move it to another place, then explain to them how they need to go about transporting it, whether it needs to be frozen, whether it needs to be on the floor, whether the car needs to be super duper cold. You guys know all the details that they need to know, but we need to communicate that to them within the packaging. Okay, you know how the product should be best experienced. All right, provide tips to your customers in writing, because we already know that if we tell them out loud, they're probably not going to remember. They're already stressed out about whatever the activity is they got going on. So give it to them in writing. Okay, these tips can be shared as an attached note on the packaging or written directly on the packaging. Okay, so for instance, we talked about stickers, we talked about stamps. So you can get something that specifically is already customized that you can slap on the box that will help kind of communicate that information. You, of course, can also tell them this information when they pick it up or when you send out your confirmation emails, but also having it directly right in front of them is going to help enhance that experience as well, because they'll have access to the answers right then and there. Okay. All right. So perks and extras. Let's see if I can go to this next page. Yes, maybe. There we go. All right. So don't waste any opportunity or an opportunity to share with a captive audience. You've got people who are excited about, enjoying whatever food it is that you've provided. They are paying attention. Don't waste that opportunity. Okay. What else do you have to offer in your business? Think through that and then use that as an opportunity to share that information with folks who are enjoying your goods. Okay. All right. If you can, and if it makes sense, include samples or promotional materials to keep your customers coming back. So for instance, let's say that you sell bagels, right? If you sell bagels and then maybe you have this new flavor of cream cheese that you're offering, maybe you want to include that as a sample so that they can think to order that later down the road, the next time they order bagels. Maybe they ordered just an everything bagel with regular cream cheese, but you've got this delicious homemade strawberry cream cheese. You can go ahead and include that, and then maybe they will be interested in that new flavor down the road. But if they've never tasted it before, then maybe they wouldn't even think to try it. Okay, so include samples or promotional materials such as if you know that you have a special on some new flavor, or there's like a new flavor that's coming out for the season for the next month, then include that as a flyer inside of the packaging as well, or maybe as a sticker or a stamp or whatever. So then they know that this is something that's coming up and I can look forward to ordering this later. Or even something like, thank you so much for placing an order with us. Your next order is 10% off if you tell a friend, or if you order through a pickup instead of delivery, then it will be this amount. Whatever the information is, you guys know your businesses better than I do, but this is an opportunity to pitch more to them. And especially if they if they really enjoy the product, then this will give them another opportunity to continue to invest and provide business with you. Okay. All right, so shareable items, here are a couple ideas. If you have a rewards program, then maybe you tell them how many points they just earned. If you have a new flavor or new products that are about to launch, go ahead and give them that heads up and that announcement that this is coming down the pipeline. Also, any current or future promotions that you have coming up, or things that are currently that are still going on and that may be going on for the next maybe week or 2 weeks, then you let them know those things as well. So these are items that you can go ahead and share. And listen, you guys, I'm not saying that you have to invest a ton of money into printing out flyers or anything like that. Literally, if you have a office printer or a home printer, you can print like little pieces of paper that you put like an icon on or whatever that just says promo. You can build something in like a Canva free software and just include those in there. I'm not saying that it's got to be all fancy and expensive, because if you're going to be putting these little flyers in with your packaging, you don't want to spend a ton of money on it. But again, invest in a printer, or and make sure that you use it in that way to get your money back. Okay. All right, and then last thing, some more extras, thank yous. So like Trisha was saying, you can include like a thank you sticker or a thank you note, depending upon what type of item they purchased. If it was a super expensive item, then maybe it's a handwritten note that just lets them know that you express your gratitude and you appreciate them. And then maybe it invites them back to place another order with you. Also, a way that they can leave you a review, encourage them to leave a review with you on your Yelp or wherever it is that you have your reviews placed. And then also social sharing, like if they had a beautiful picture of them enjoying your treats or your food, your bagels, then have them to, at you on social media. So include your social media content, your social media contact information, so that they know where they can tag you, where they can send those pictures, because you can also then repurpose that for your own user-generated content on your pages. Okay. So quick recap. First off, before we recap, if you guys haven't signed up for the Food Entrepreneur Growth Summit, which is next week, January 25th from noon to 5 p.m., of which I am one of the presenters. All right, if you guys haven't signed up, make sure you go to castiron.me/summit and sign up, save a seat. You guys, I'm hearing that there's limited seats. So if you want to get in and you haven't registered, make sure you do that like tonight, so that you make sure that you have your own seat and that you can enjoy the summit and learn from not just myself, but several other awesome business entrepreneurs and experts in the field. All right, so definitely check that out. That is next week. And then also next month is pricing mistakes. All right, so we're going to talk about pricing mistakes that are hurting your business, and that will come in February. So keep an eye out for an email next month as it relates to the time and date and all that good stuff. But it should be very interesting. Pricing is another like true love of mine in this industry, and we're going to be talking about different things that that I know are common mistakes in this field. All right, so. And then also, there's a lot of inflation, there's like egg prices and all that crazy stuff. So let's get past these mistakes so that we can make a whole bunch of money in this year. All right. So key takeaways from today. All right. Your packaging can look good without being expensive. right? You don't have to get fully customized packaging. If it's in the budget, then awesome. If you have the volume for that, that's great. But if you don't, then you can really get by with having some generic packaging in a general color, craft, white, pink, whatever fits your brand, and then maybe add a sticker or add a ribbon or add a stamp or something that kind of customizes it without it being a whole bunch of money, all right, out of pocket. Stickers, printouts can serve as branding as well as communication. And so we were talking about, including these notes, these pro tips, all that kind of stuff. These can be put on stickers as well. It could be like big, 5x9 or maybe not 5x9, maybe like 5x3 stickers that you put on the side of the box. It's like storage and care and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to always be loose piece of paper, but if you want it to be loose piece of paper, then cool too. But either way, stickers and printouts can help with the branding as well as communication. Experience the customer experience firsthand. Walk through it yourself so that you know exactly what they're going to be going through. And I know I've had people ask before, well, can I just, ship something over to a friend? I want to see what it's like to ship across the state or something like that. You can, but if you are getting other friends or family or whoever to help you with testing your packaging, make sure that they are an expert in the field. If they're not, then make sure that you have open communication with them. Maybe, you ship it to a friend who's across the state and you do a video chat with them as they're unboxing so you can see it for yourself. You want to make sure that you lay eyes on it, okay? And if you don't lay eyes on it, make sure that your friend is an expert to be able to help you say, okay, this is what you should have done in order to get it to me in a better condition, okay? Also, share tips. Share pro tips to improve the customer experience. So let them know how they should reheat, how they should thaw, how it should be presented, how they should store it when they, if they want to eat it in the next few days. Let them know those things up front and in writing. Okay. And then also share updates with your captivated audience. You can give them like little treats, maybe a sample so they can see what's coming up, as well as, if there's new announcements, there's new flavor coming, there's a new website launching over on Cast Iron, whatever it is, you want to pitch that to the captive audience that is excited about what you got going on because they just tasted your delicious bagels and they want to know more about what other flavors you got. All right. Any questions? I'm going to stop sharing so that I can come back and see you guys because I could not see the chat. All right. So I left some time for questions. Did you guys have anything? Did you enjoy the information? And also, if you're watching on YouTube, this is the time to drop your questions in the comments as well. How do you guys feel about it? Are we going to up level our packaging this year? I'm excited about some of you guys getting ribbon printers and printing custom ribbons for your customers and adding that on your custom order forms on Cast Iron. I think that's going to be awesome. I'm with Emily on that. I'm with Emily on that one. Good question. All right. What should be my first step if I can only do one thing you mentioned? Honestly, if I only had like $100, right, to figure out my packaging, like outside of like actually getting my boxes, right? Like, so let's say I found some really cute craft boxes over on Amazon. I would invest in getting a stamp. Even though I love stickers, I feel like stamps have longevity more because I can always go to Walmart or Office Max or Office Depot and get an ink pad if I run out of ink, right? But if I run out of stickers and I don't realize I've run out of stickers, then I have to, like, if it's last minute, I may have to place an order, then I've got to wait a couple days. Like, to me, it's better to just get a stamp and have that there and available. Second thing would be a printer of my own and making sure that I have my paper ready. So, because I could always print out my notes or print out my instructions and then put like a cute generic gold sticker or something on the packaging to stick it together. So to me, number one would be a stamp, my own custom stamp that has my logo. And then the other thing would be to have a printer ready. Liz says, I'm very excited to try full custom. Oh, I love that, Lisa. I love that, Lisa. Have I been saying Liz this whole time? I'm sorry if I've been saying Liz this whole time. Lisa, this has been awesome. You're all good. Okay, thank you. Lisa, yes, a stamp. Yes, absolutely. I think that's like a really great purchase. Also, because you can use a stamp not just on your boxes, but like, let's say you were doing a farmer's market or something, and you want to change up your packaging and do bags, then you could do some cute little lunch bags and then still put a stamp on it. And here you are with a custom look. Okay. Let's see. Susan says, I currently have custom ribbons that I use to wrap my product with. I also use an index card to thank them and to put instructions on. The front of my card has my logo on it. Yes, I love that. That's a really great idea, right? Because you have your ribbons, you can just do a quick hole punch, and it's going to look really cute and pretty and very well thought out. Trisha says, yes, that's a great idea. I have a thank you stamp that I had from when I got married to use on my thank you cards. So, so think about things that can be, yes, I love that. I love that you can multi-purpose that, right? So even if you have like a stamp that has your logo, or even if you buy a generic stamp that says thank you, then you can use that in multiple different ways. Okay. Lisa says, I also stamp my shipping boxes and delivery bags. Exactly. I feel like the stamp just has so much more versatility. Even though I love stickers. I love that they can be colorful and so forth. But at the same time, I feel like a stamp just kind of can go a lot of different places. And then also don't forget, you can change up the ink color on your stamp. Okay, so depending upon what your brand colors are, then maybe you use, white ink on a black box. I don't know, never tried that before, but maybe that'll work. So you can change up, you can have a little bit more flexibility. Any other questions? No, yes, no. If so, just email me or drop it in the comments over on YouTube. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. I thought it was informational. As I was digging more into what I wanted to say, then I got even more inspired and got even more ideas. And so I hope that you guys have also been inspired by this. And I hope you see how this can, ways that you can implement this into your business in order to improve the customer experience. Because at the end of the day, if your customer enjoys the product and if they, find it to have good presentation, as well as being very informative, as well as to be engaging, then they're going to continue to come back because they just felt seen, right? You want them to feel seen. You want them to feel appreciated as well. All right, guys, thank you so much. And also thank you, Susan. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Trisha, everybody who's been in here. Thank you, Emily. I hope I got it. Thank you, Grayson. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this evening. Again, if you have any questions, please email me info@thesweetfest.com, or you can email Emily. And let me pop this back up real quick so that you guys can see her email. Help plus cooking up sales at castiron.me. Whew, there it is. All right. Also email Emily, help plus cooking up sales at castiron.me if you have any questions about getting your website set up with Cast Iron. If you have any if you have any questions about any things I just talked about, or if you would like to join the session next month, keep an eye out on your email as well. All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Can we get a copy of this presentation? Ooh, that's a great question, Vicki. Vicki, just email me and I can send you like a PDF if that is helpful. All right. And then also the video is going to be out here in just a little bit too. So just in case that's a thing too. All right, you guys have a great rest of the day. Kill it this month. I'm excited to see what you guys do. I'm excited to see these new Valentine things too, because that's coming as well. Valentine's coming around the corner. So hopefully this will help you guys with Valentine's presentation too. Thank you. Invaluable info. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of the night. Talk to you guys later. Bye.